there, so you can say anywhere over here.
Master.
Master right here.
Senior warden.
Senior warden is where's one?
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Which one of these two?
That one.
That one.
And then, junior warden.
Okay.
And then treasurer.
Junior warden, treasurer, secretary. Are these right? Secretary, treasurer?
Yeah.
Or treasurer, secretary.
That's right.
Okay. Now we're gonna just do it the opposite on this side.
And LEO.
Is that LEO in there? Yes, I believe so.
And deacons.
We need theirs still. Well, I have one of them, looks like.
There's the senior one.
We need a new junior. Right here. I'm gonna hand you this so I can pull over the rod holders. And then, which one is, I never remember which one is junior and which one's senior.
There isn't any difference.
There isn't any difference. Perfect. No difference. So, there we go. In order, starting here, and then here.
Okay, 1, 2.
Yep, 2. Okay.
But actually, I don't think you need the stands up here, because they're gonna need the stands when they sit down.
So what am I gonna do?
We just used to lay them down. I mean, look, that's when we had it out of the way though, up here.
Okay, so these two are the same. Are these two the same?
No,
No.
one has a one and one has a sign.
You have the link in, I emailed it to you.
Awesome.
And it's up and running. And the sound sounds good.
While you're presenting the jewel, whoever is helping with the installation could go and retrieve.
I thought the
The
marshal put
appropriate-
a jewel on the people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So what do I do?
The marshal was the one that usually,
Usually
I'd say it was
puts
the
the
jewel.
jewel.
I don't think there's anything directly in there.
Because there's the master and the marshal, so one of you,
And
whoever's
so
not
last year,
active.
Jay was putting the stuff on people.
Yeah. However you wanna do it.
I'll bring them on that way.
is the marshal, where is the marshal last? As far as the order?
I don't think so. But Tyler's last.
Oh, okay.
Then the charge is read.
Yeah, we don't have the,
Tyler's in one?
yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. I don't know where it is.
Oh. That's weird.
I'll blame Luke.
That is really odd. With Tyler's.
So how do you suggest
Again, I don't know who you have helping, but if there's somebody who isn't actively doing anything, someone can just, while you're installing them, someone can go and retrieve it for them. As a possibility.
I'm okay with that except for that one. I don't want them going out there to get it and coming back. I just think that was a bit awkward.
Sure.
Do we have more stands for?
One in the bathroom.
I guess
There's one right there.
It might be,
So if we just put that one up here, then the others can be retrieved as needed, and Junior will be over here. That way they don't have to cross over.
Sure. Sure.
Because I feel like that's kind of close enough that they can set them up. Be
Yeah.
weird.
Grab this one. Does this one, does it fit in this one? This one's old. Nope. I think there's one in the spare one in the bathroom. I kicked it when I went to the bathroom by accident. Or we can just move that one, I suppose.
Are you gonna sharpen that or what?
No, we're gonna have the person go after the rods as they're needed, but I didn't want them walking all the way out here.
we used to lay the rods on the.
Yeah,
that's gonna be-
Yeah, just move it.
You know, lay them up against the.
It's gonna be.
You can do the same thing.
I'll tell you what.
Steps.
Move
All right,
that.
I'll take care of all the rods. Basically, when I present them, I'll grab them and I'll bring them up to you and I'll just hand them to you.
The only one I was thinking about was that one, so people, so you don't have to go all the way out there.
It don't matter. Soon as I get him up
Do
here,
the,
right,
paperwork.
he's installed,
Well,
I'll just walk
I
back.
brought the checkbook with me and I filled out most of the financial stuff today, but I don't have it done yet.
Okay,
So-
I've got,
Cause I'm gonna do the same
numbers
thing as
for
the
how much
seniors.
our
Senior
OU
year.
is, it's like 6,000.
That's all,
That's gonna
that's
do
all I
for the
need,
senior
that's the
year.
only one that I gotta get.
Yeah, they're both here.
How much is it?
It's like
Tyler's
6,000.
not
We
here.
did gain some,
Um,
Junior
the
varsity
dues that we
award.
collected,
Chaplain's
I can't
not
remember,
here.
it's like 3,500 and actually our
Okay.
dues are only like 20.
And
so we
the
recovered some of it.
junior
And
students.
I have two checks
Josh
in the
Short,
door.
you're right.
Oh,
He's junior.
that I put in.
He's
junior?
Okay.
And there was a couple electronic ones.
You're
This
senior?
weekend, I'm gonna print the ledger, the
I gotta
manual,
get some more.
and send them to people that didn't have.
Up on the table, you go,
And then
into
mail.
the kitchen, off to the left.
Well, I'm free almost any time.
Where's from us?
From after tonight, I'm free almost any
Okay,
time.
we could do something tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, if I can work at that right away, I've got all the, I've got the receipts part done, it's the expenses done.
Okay, okay.
It's kind of difficult, it's kind of confusing because we're getting stuff from the, like the salsa Rica one.
Oh.
I've got a,
That reminds me, I got a question for you. Because whilst I've been cleaning the office in the preparation to do stuff,
oh,
A la izquierda ya tengo mi bolsa ahí. No voy a pasar, ¿verdad?
Where's Scott? Scott's right. Hey, Scott.
Yes, sir. It's Magnum, right? Daniel Magnum.
Magnum, like man chewing gum.
Manchunum. I ever said Magnum, I'm like, that's not quite right. I'm supposed to say Daddy.
All right, so it starts off with what, you talking? Or Tom talking? Tom.
Tom.
And then it gets to Larry who installs me.
Oh, Larry gonna install you? Okay. Usually it's Tom, who's installing, is Larry gonna do the whole thing, or do you just do?
No, Larry's doing me and he's going to do Tom unless you want to do Tom.
I already did it. Multiple times.
what I do?
All right,
I'll try my.
all right, so Tom will start. He takes care, Larry comes up, does me.
Was, Larry, are you gonna read the whole chart or the whole thing? Or are you gonna let Tom read that, then you give him the jewel and install him that way?
I brought up your suite.
Okay, that's,
For the master.
yeah, cause prayer, another prayer. Cause I bring them up here, I present them to you, this is when I'll bring them up to you guys. And then basically,
You're basically.
yeah, wherever you want.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Chaplain for the prayer,
We're supposed to sit in order here,
and
aren't we?
I
then
thought we were over there.
installing officer, I mean,
I don't think they're doing it.
you gotta read basically from
Yeah.
61.
Because we always wind up on this side because there's more chairs.
That's what I was figuring.
Yeah, I'll leave you. No, dude, this is all, this is
I
what
know,
he
we
wants.
shouldn't expect to see
This is
Josh,
his
he's got
night.
surgery.
I'm just
Josh isn't
trying
gonna
to
be
make
here,
sure,
Luke isn't gonna be
and
here,
Something with his
I
bike.
think if you go to here.
Luke isn't gonna be here, and, Jake is
So,
here.
I just
basically,
skipped this song.
yeah, brethren, I behold your master, and unite with me.
Which,
and give
if
him
he's
the
not
crown.
here, how do we have him
Boom,
sign
we
up
do the
for
grand honors.
for the signature?
Set him up in the chair, we, then we, let him speak if he wants to,
Are you
or
remember
hold,
Preston?
then he can turn it over to Tom. Okay. How's that sound?
Oh,
to you?
That's good at that point. Tom
Who's the
Tom
installing
needs to do
marshal?
Yeah, basically, yeah, and basically he'll bring them up, and he'll do all the reading stuff.
And you'll bring rods
Yep,
as
and-
needed.
And I'll bring them up to the altar, you know, that's Mark, I'll bring them up so they're all lined up.
No,
But you, once he says like, see Warren, you know, hey, boom, then you know, basically you're installing it. He's just saying the words.
right here you want Tom to use, right? For this part of the one, he's saying, it's up to you guys.
It's up to him, this is his thing.
What do you want?
Is Scott, is your installing marshal?
I'm just from Marshall.
Can I have another Marshall with somebody?
No.
No,
I'm-
these army guys bother me, so.
I know. Just for that, I gotta go look for something. I was gonna be nice.
I thought there was more to it before they told me, to be honest with you. Then why don't we let Tom do it up until I'm called up? And when I'm called up, then you step up and do that part. Does that work?
Okay, we ready? I'm worried you might have to slide down. Or, maybe, which side are you guys gonna be on, you decide?
Well, there's only room on this side,
Okay.
I think.
You, why don't you go on that side?
And we got,
Mike, I got my Marshall rod.
So, it's Tom.
Marshall, oh jeez.
Hey, Tom,
Yeah,
quick question.
I'm surprised you didn't turn it into a jewel, so we could.
Because we don't have, you know,
well, then, present them, let's see, Marshall, where's your master? Oh, that's what the Marshal says, the Marshal says something. Yeah.
We take it this whole, overall.
Installing officer, they pray. Then there's the installing officer, on the right hand over repeat after me, then it's, is this one I marked up? No, this isn't mine, wait, mine makes more sense.
This is what somebody else says,
So then the Marshal does his thing. Yeah. So what do you guys say?
Three of them.
I think you can just be, you're the Marshal, right?
I didn't realize,
Oh, you're the Marshal, okay. Okay. So who's reading the Marshal? Okay.
I'm just like, that doesn't matter. Then I look online, I'm like, oh,
59.
I was drinking
Yeah.
milkshake.
Basically, you don't.
So,
I think
Yeah.
Larry should start from here.
If you looked at it, it looked like a Shamrock Shake.
So an officer blah. That way it's just once all full and I can bring hers down.
Okay.
And then he can do,
We'll just stay up in front. We got all this, so.
yeah, until 65 or something, or.
There's a lot.
We're not including basketball games.
Well, who's gonna be Well, anybody can be the, I could be the chaplain, I can be the chaplain.
It wasn't really.
Oh, all right, well, however you wanna do it, yeah, I just thought it might give a breakup in that case.
Between you two, who does it?
And that is a good way to be a man. Hey, you two figure it out, I'll be here to support.
Yeah.
He knows the game is.
But we should get going, it's after 7. And batteries will not last forever. Or did you put the link on the Facebook?
Somewhere, yeah. It's gonna be,
So we-
it's gonna be volunteers for.
Go ahead, put your, hey, Daddy-O, we're having them put their aprons on, right?
Yeah,
Hopefully,
okay.
go ahead, put your apron
Second year
on.
sports this
Mike,
year.
put the apron on.
Put your apron,
See, kind of,
put your apron on.
The old one or the?
Your new one.
Put on the new one?
Put the new one on, and then
And hockey.
don't sit in your chair again, and then just sit over here and I'll come grab you.
Sit in the corner. Not first time.
Scott, I'll leave this on until after I get him installed, then I'll put that on. I'll leave this on until I have him installed, then I'll put that on.
I'm not sure.
No. I was gonna ring that, then I was like, no, you know what? Grandma's gonna be here.
Now I know I need to go on a diet.
You wonder though, when you keep on having.
Why do I have to keep expanding it? And then I'm like, oh great, first time I've actually worn this one.
Which one is that?
That means I can.
Be sitting there now? No.
So, do you want me to
I'm
be?
just gonna have to go a little bit further than I did and then hopefully.
I guess you're like,
Well, it just gives me a place to be then. Because I have,
Tom,
yes,
where should
6,
families and visiting?
wherever they can fit.
Where do you want all of us being installed?
They're gonna start everybody down there.
Yeah, if you
so
want
start
to,
at the
otherwise
first
I can just
red
write
velvet,
a
I'll just
check
go
and lodge it with me.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it goes fast. Perfect.
Tom, you want me over here now?
I don't know, I got a secretary. I'll read that, so when the part comes up, I've got the names. So when the time comes up, I have a name, I can read the call secretary.
No,
after
I'm
the
gonna be
meeting.
sitting there a little bit.
Since we don't have a secretary.
I guess I'm sitting over here then.
So,
I'm not gonna do it any further.
Yeah, right. I used to wait for
I really didn't know I was gonna sit over here.
It's just more of like
there.
what I can grab.
I will, just a little bit, when it's time to be installed.
I like
I don't know where the jewel is for it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over there, that's right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
oh, it doesn't matter. I always thought of that.
Brother,
Less walking is possible.
I appreciate that.
Because you're supposed to be on the.
Well, I can go to the,
Scott, do you want to see if there's anybody else that's going to come in and we can?
So we're gonna start on installation?
Yeah.
And it's no knocks.
Please come in.
I haven't sat these chairs.
There's officers everywhere.
Certain regulations on who sits on this side. Be a good
have to
spot
ask
to
her
take
how
a
you-
pic.
Those look,
No, I think the officers who are being installed are down there. If we've got them all, then you can sit there.
Are you?
I think you're good there. I think you're good.
we get more chairs too, that's easy.
Yeah, we might want to get more chairs.
We're gonna need them.
Well, I suppose I should let you choose.
Boy, we had a close call at the last.
Something I might lean in front of you.
Oh.
You're not coming down here, are you?
Well, so I had pushed that everyone would make a decision because I didn't know what was coming down in that weather, because we had no idea it was going to be like amazing. Yeah. Oh, I didn't either. Oh.
Hey Larry, after I sit down, I'm gonna have him bring my coffee over, is that okay? Sounds good.
Right now.
I'll throw it up if I turn it on right now. We'll be testing gag and we'll throw on the live stream. Let's do it right on the live stream.
And it's 360, so they can zoom in right up to it.
We can throw a couple buttons on it, sure.
It actually looks like.
And I got my head over all this stuff.
Okay.
Well, it's not your way.
No, I'm going to do everything from here. It's not really a formal secretary.
Someday it will be. You know, keep your hopes high because you're gonna make secretary someday.
Well, if you would have shown up, cutting like something like
First Spencer, want to do one more?
Yep.
Just stuff in the corner. Right in the corner.
Standing room only.
It's gonna be the committee.
You could maybe just sit up in the deacon seat for right now.
I'll just, do you need a camera operator first?
Nope, it's 360.
Okay.
We got a chair right over here like that, Chuck.
That's Mike's ketchup.
I don't even wanna know what he does with it.
Make sure that the phones are on silent.
That's a good point. Everybody.
Amor,
Everybody check.
telephone, silencio.
$5 if the phone goes off.
$5 for every out loud alarm.
That's only for lodge members.
Oh, that's bad today. Just gonna power off mine. Set it there. We're looking good, Scott?
I'm sitting down.
Okay,
I'm leaving that door open since we're an open,
Yep.
open lodge, so.
Somebody might want her. Do we have an extra chair anywhere?
If we need it, we got.
We have the steward's chair.
Yep, and then I have also some right around the corner.
Excellent, okay. All right. I think everybody's looking good. Brethren of the Grand Lodge, we're about to install your Grand Office. Whoops, that's a Grand Lodge. Hold on.
Page 58.
I gotta get to page 50. There we go. Let's try this. Brethren of Winona Lodge number 18, we're about to install your officers for the ensuing year. Brother Secretary, announce the names of the officers elect.
Daddy O'Magnum, Master. Nathan Burglar, Senior Warden. Gabriel Payne, Junior Warden. Thomas Hill, Secretary. Mike Al Paffrath, Treasurer. Jonathan Schiller, Senior Deacon. Carl Mastenbrook, Junior Deacon. Ben Malky, Senior Steward. Josh Horick, Junior Steward. Luca Cord Tyler. Larry Lyman, LEO. Jay Jensen, Chaplain. And Tony Stangel, Marshal.
Brethren, you've heard the names of the officers elect. If any of you ought know why any of them should not be installed, let them speak now or forever be silent. Hearing no objection, I will proceed. Brother Marshal, present the master-elect to the east.
Worshipful Master, I present Brother Daddy Magnum to be installed Master of this lodge. He is of good moral and great skill, true and trusty, and as he is a lover of our fraternity, I doubt not that he will discharge the duties devolving upon his fidelity.
Everyone will rise with me, please. Let us pray. Most holy and gracious Lord God, we approach thee with reverence and implore thy blessing on this brother, elected to preside over this lodge. Fill his heart with thy love, that his tongue and actions may pronounce thy glory. Make him steadfast in thy service. Grant him firmness of mind, animate his heart, and strengthen his endeavors. May he teach thy judgments and thy laws, and be a true and faithful servant. Bless him, O Lord, and bless the work of his hands. Hear thou our prayer. Forgive our transgressions, and finally, receive us into the celestial lodge above, where thou art forever reigneth. Amen.
So let it be.
Please be seated. My brother, place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me your official obligation. I solemnly promise, upon the honor of a Mason, that in the office of Master of this lodge,
that in the honor of the office of this lodge,
I will, to the best of my ability, strictly comply with the Constitution, laws, rules, and regulations of the Grand Lodge of Ancient Free and Accepted Masons of Minnesota, the bylaws of this lodge, and all other ancient Masonic usages, so far as the same shall come to my knowledge. My brother, lay your hand down. You are now to be installed as master of this lodge with powers and prerogatives which are well nigh absolute. The interest, excuse me, I forgot my hat. It's been a while. The interests of your lodge for weal or woe will be in your keeping during your term in office. The good resolutions which doubtless you have formed, not to abuse or pervert these powers, I would gladly strengthen by a word of admonition. The very consciousness of the possession of a great power will ever make a generous mind cautious and gentle in its exercise. To rule has been the lot of many, and requires neither strength of intellect nor soundness of judgment. To rule well has been the fortune of but few, and may well be the object of an honorable ambition. It is not by the strong arm or the iron will that obedience and order, the chief requisites, are secured, but by holding the key to the hearts of men. be master of his lodge is an honor to which any well-informed master mason may laudably aspire. The office is one of great antiquity, dignity, and respect, but its incumbent, to rule well, should possess and practice several important requisites. As a man, he should be of approved integrity and irreproachable morals, free from the domination of hasty temper and ill-governed passions, of good repute in the world, and an example to his brethren in practicing the cardinal virtues of temperance, fortitude, prudence, and justice. As a citizen, he should be loyal to his government, obedient to its laws, prompt in the duties he owes to society, and a pattern of fidelity in all social and domestic relations. As a Mason, he should cling to the old landmarks, have a knowledge of the laws, language, and literature of Freemasonry, be desirous to learn and apt to teach, accomplished in the work and lectures, prompt to aid and relieve, and ever mindful that though elevated for a time above his fellows, he is elevated by them, and should cultivate everywhere and at all times the golden tenets of brotherly love, relief, and truth. As an officer, he should remember, first of all, that he is an individual Mason, sharing in that respect a common lot with his brethren, and therefore be interested in the welfare of each and all. He should be neither unduly ostentatious nor overbearing. He should be accessible to all, and should cultivate the friendship and confidence of his associate officers. He should be willing to take counsel with his brethren and ready to give it. He should be patient in investigation, deliberate in judgment, prompt in execution, forbearing with evildoers, and ready to reward good. He should be opposed to the restless spirit of innovation, watchful over his treasury, and devoid of favoritism and partiality. Such are some of the most important qualifications which a master should possess, and the errors he should avoid. It may be that most, if not all of us, have failed to reach this standard, but it should be your purpose to reach it, and thus be a bright and shining example to brethren who shall come after you. My brother, previous to your investiture, it is necessary that you should signify your assent to those ancient charges and regulations which point out the duty of a master of a lodge. You agree to be a good man and true, and strictly to obey the moral law. The answer is I do.
I do.
You agree to be a peaceable citizen and cheerfully to conform to the laws of the country in which you reside.
I do.
You promise not to be concerned in plots and conspiracies against government, but patiently to submit to the decisions of the constituted authorities.
I do.
You agree to pay proper respect to the civil magistrate, to work diligently, live creditably, and act honorably among all men.
I do.
You agree to hold in veneration the original rulers and patrons of Freemasonry, and their regular successors, supreme and subordinate, according to their stations, and to submit to the awards and resolutions of your brethren when in lodge convened, in every case consistent with the constitutions of the fraternity.
I do.
Have to think about that one. You agree to private piques and quarrels, and to guard against intemperance and excess.
I do.
You agree to be cautious in carriage and behavior, courteous to your brethren, and faithful to your lodge.
I do.
You promise to respect genuine brethren and to discountenance impostors and all dissenters from the original plan of Masonry.
I do.
You agree to promote the general good of society, to cultivate the social virtues, and to propagate the knowledge of the mystic art.
I do.
You promise to pay homage to the Grand Master for the time being, and to his officers when duly installed, and strictly conform to every edict of the Grand Lodge or General Assembly of Masons that is not subversive to the principles and groundwork of Masonry.
I do.
You admit that it is not in the power of any man or body of men to make innovations in the body of Masonry.
I do.
You promise a regular attendance on the committees and communications of the Grand Lodge on receiving proper notice, and to pay attention to all the duties of masonry on convenient occasions.
I do.
You admit that no new lodge shall be formed without permission of the Grand Lodge, and that no countenance shall be given to an irregular lodge or to any person clandestinely initiated therein, being contrary to the ancient charges of Freemasonry.
I do.
You admit that no person can be regularly made a Mason in or admitted a member of any regular lodge without previous notice and due inquiry into his character.
I do.
You agree that no visitors shall be received into your lodge without due examination and producing proper vouchers of their having been initiated in a regular lodge.
I do.
These are the regulations of free and accepted Masons. Do you submit to these charges and promise to support the regulations as all masters have done before you?
I do.
My brother, in consequence of your cheerful conformity to the charges and regulations of the fraternity, you are now to be installed as master of this lodge, in full confidence of your care, skill, and capacity to govern the same. With pleasure, I now invest you with the jewel of your office, the square. As the square is employed by operative masons to fit and adjust the stones of a building, that all its parts may properly agree, so you, as master of this lodge, are admonished by the symbolic meaning of the square to preserve that moral deportment among the members of your lodge, which should always characterize good masons, and to exert your authority to prevent ill feeling or angry discussion arising to impair the harmony of this meeting, or these meetings. I now place in your care the furniture and implements of masonry, the Holy Bible, the square and compass upon its open pages, which is on the altar, where it must always be when the lodge is in labor. You have it closed, but that's because we're not in lodge. The holy writings, that is the great light in masonry, will guide you to all truth. It will direct your path in the temple to happiness and point out to you the whole duty of a man. The square teaches us to regulate our actions by rule and line and to harmonize our conduct by the principles of morality and virtue. The compass teaches us to limit our desires in every station, that, rising to eminence by merit, we may live respected and die regretted. The rule directs that we shall punctually observe our duty, press forward in the path of virtue, and neither inclining to the right nor the left, in all our actions have eternity in view. The line teaches the criterion of moral rectitude, to avoid dissimulation in conversation and action, and to direct our steps to the path which leads to immortality. The Book of Constitutions you are to search at all times, cause it to be read in your lodge, that none may pretend ignorance of the excellent precepts it enjoins. You now receive the charge of this charter by the authority in which this lodge is held. Without his presence, you cannot open your lodge. You are therefore to preserve it carefully, transmit it safely to your successor. You will also receive in charge the bylaws of your lodge, which you are to see carefully and punctually executed. Lastly, I place in your hand this gavel, the emblem of your authority. Use it firmly, but not arbitrarily, to the end that peace and harmony may prevail among your brethren. I now conduct you to the oriental chair and cover you with the distinctions which, in this lodge, it is alone your privilege to wear. I'm going to take you through this. Comfortably seated. Are you? You're sure. Call up the brethren.
Nope, knock, just call them up. We're in an open lodge.
Just say,
Yep.
say, brethren, rise.
Brothers, please rise.
I now fill you as master of this lodge. Master, behold your brethren. Brethren, behold your master, and unite with me in giving him the grand honors. One last thing. Very good. Seat the brethren.
Brothers, you may be seated. Brother Marshall, present the other officers elect and appointed for obligation.
Take off your hat. Brother, please rise. First Master, I present the brothers elect for the position.
You will each place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me your official obligation. I solemnly promise.
I solemnly promise,
Upon the honor of a Mason.
upon the honor of a Mason,
That I will serve this lodge.
that I will serve this
In
lodge
the office to which I have been elected.
in the office to which I have been elected
Or appointed.
or appointed,
And will perform all the duties.
and to perform all the duties
Pertaining thereto.
pertaining
To the
thereto
best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Oh, that's me. I present, oh, I need the names, excuse me. I present Brother Nathan Bergler to be installed as senior warden. What? Yeah.
Oh, he's there.
Yep. You may take your position. Brother Gabriel Kane to be installed as junior warden. Brother Thomas Hill to be installed as secretary. Mike Paffrath to be installed as treasurer. Jonathan Schiller to be installed as senior deacon. Brother Carl Mastenbrook as junior deacon. Ben Malky as senior steward. Josh Horick as junior steward. Luca Cord as Tyler. Larry Lyman as LEO, that's Lodge Education Officer. Nope.
That's his,
It's over there.
that's a deacon. He has the audio right now.
Oh.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay.
That looks right. That's right. That's personal. First official act is I'm going to give you a nearly go about these things. I'll get all the way to Peter.
Jay Jensen is chaplain. And finally, Tony Stango is marshal. No, we got that. We'll skip it. Brother Senior Warden, the level demonstrates that we are descended from the same stock, partake of the same nature, and share the same hope. And through distinctions among men are necessary to preserve subordination. Yet no eminence of station can make us forget that we are brethren, because the time will come, and the wisest knows not how soon, when all distinctions but that of goodness shall cease, and death, the grand leveler of all human greatness, reduces us to the same state. Your regular attendance on the meetings of the lodge is necessary and essential. In the absence of the master, you are to govern his lodge, and in his presence you are to assist him in the government of it. I firmly rely on your knowledge of masonry and the attachment to the lodge for a faithful discharge of the duties of this important trust. Look well to the east. For the junior warden, the plumb admonishes us to walk upright in our several stations, to hold the scale of justice in equal pose, to observe the just medium between intemperance and pleasure, and to make our passions and prejudices coincide with the line of duty. To you is committed the superintendence of the craft during the hours of refreshment. It is, therefore, indistinguishably necessary that you should not only be temperate and discreet in the indulgence of your own inclinations, but carefully observe that none of the craft be suffered to convert the purpose of refreshment into intemperance and excess. Your regular and punctual attendance in this is particularly requested, and I have no doubt that you will faithfully execute the duty which you owe to your present position. Look well to the south. My brother treasurer, you've been elected to this lodge, and it is your duty to receive all money from the hands of the secretary. Keep the just and regular accounts of all the same, and pay them out at the worshipful master's will and pleasure, with the consent of the lodge. I trust your regard for the fraternity will prompt you to a faithful discharge of the duties of your office. You want to read mine?
Yes. Yes, we should.
I'll pretend I'm sitting back there. I already got my Julie, skip that part.
Secretary, my brother, you have been elected secretary of this lodge, and I now invest you with the jewel of your office. It is your duty to observe the worshipful master's will and pleasure, to record the proceedings of the lodge, to receive all monies and pay them into the hands of the treasurer. Your good inclination to masonry and this lodge, I hope, will induce you to discharge the duties of your office with fidelity, and by doing so, you will merit the esteem and applause of your brethren.
There. My brother, you've been appointed to the lodge education officer. The lamp of knowledge reminds us that no mason can possess the philosophy or inculcate the tenets of masonry without sound education and the lifelong learning. Masonry must enlighten the mind and body for the application of our ideals. You must help to guide this lodge toward the delightful light of knowledge and concern. By your assistance and encouragement, you will help the brothers of all degrees to study and enjoy the ancient craft masonry. Your coordination of monthly educational programs and activities will be cheerfully received and eagerly expected. Your early and regular attendance upon the communication of this lodge is necessary and expected, and I rely on you to cheerfully and carefully meet these requirements. Brother deacons, you have been appointed senior and junior deacon of the lodge. It is your province to attend the master and wardens and to serve as their proxies in the active duties of the lodge, such as the reception of candidates into the different degrees, the introduction and accommodation of visitors, and the immediate practice of our rite. The square and compass has your badges of your office are entrusted in your care, not doubting your vigilance and attendance. Didn't miss the stewards, I feel like I did. The chaplain is not in attendance. The stewards. Brethren, your appointment as junior and senior stewards, you will bear, and these rods, these white rods, which you will bear in the performance of your duties. It is your duties to assist the deacons and other officers in the discharge of their duties, and to see that the tables are properly furnished at refreshment, and every brother is suitably provided for. It's also your duty to aid and introduce the candidates, and as from the first impression of the institution is received from them, you should be particularly careful by the seriousness of your deportment to properly prepare them for the dignified and important ceremony of initiation. Your regular and early attendance will afford the best proof of your zeal and attachment. Brother Marshal, you are appointed Marshal of this lodge, and you are invested with the baton as appropriate badge of your office. It is your duty to form and conduct the processions of the lodge on all public occasions, and to attend other interests in the practice of rites, as the master shall direct. No Tyler. We have the charge to be read. Worshipful Master, the superintendents and government of the brethren who compose this lodge have been committed to your care. You cannot be insensible of the obligation which devolves on you as their head, nor of your responsibility for the faithful discharge of the important duties of your position. The honor, reputation, and usefulness of your lodge will materially develop on the skill and assurity of which you manage your concerns, and the happiness of its members, and which will be promoted according to the zeal and ability with which you disseminate the genuine principles of our institution. For the pattern of imitation, consider the great luminary of nature, which rises in the east and regularly diffuses light and luster to all within its circle. In like manner, it is your province to spread and communicate light and the instructions to the brethren of your lodge. Forcibly impress upon them the dignity and high importance of masonry, and seriously admonish them to never disgrace it. Charge them to practice out of lodge those duties which have been taught in it, by discreet and virtuous conduct, to convince mankind of the goodness of the institution, so that when a man is said to be a member of the world, they may know it is he who is one whom the burdened heart may pour out its sorrows, to whom distress may prefer its suit, whose hand is guided by justice, and whose heart is expanded by benevolence. In short, by a diligent observation of the bylaws of your lodge, the constitutions of masonry, and above all the holy scriptures, which are given as a rule and guide to your faith, you will be enabled to acquit yourself with honor and reputation, and lay upon the crown of rejoicing, which shall continue with time shall be no more. Brother junior and senior wardens, you too are well acquainted with the principles of masonry to warn any distrust which will be found waiting in the discharge of your duties. Suffice to say that you have been praiseworthy in others. What you've seen praiseworthy in others, you should carefully imitate. And what in them may have appeared defective, you should be in yourself amend. You should be examples of good and regularity. For it is only by due regard to the laws in your own conduct that you can expect obedience from others. You are to assist the master in discharge of his trust, diffusing light, imparting knowledge, in all whom he shall place under your care. In the absence of the master, you will succeed to higher duties. Your requirements must therefore be such the craft may never suffer from want of proper instruction. From the spirit which you have hereto invicted, I entertain no doubt that your future conduct for such as to merit the applause of your brethren and temperance of good consciousness. Brethren of Winona Lodge, 18. Such is nature of our Constitution, that as some must necessarily rule and teach, so others must learn to submit and obey. Humility is an essential duty. The officers who are appointed to govern your lodge are sufficiently conversant with the laws of nature and the institution to avoid exceeding its powers, which they are entrusted. You are of too generous dispositions to envy their preferment. I therefore trust that you will have but one aim, to please each other, unite in the grand design of being happy and communicate happiness. Finally, my brethren, as this association has been formed and perfected in so much unanimity and concord in which we may greatly rejoice, so may it long continue. May you long enjoy every satisfaction and delight which disinterested friendship can afford. May kindness and brotherly affection distinguish your conduct as men and as masons. May the tenets of our profession be transmitted through your lodge, pure and unimpaired. Brother Marcia, make the proclamation. My tongue was getting tied in.
I'm directed to proclaim, and I do hereby proclaim, the master, wardens, and other officers elect and appointed of Winona Lodge number 18 have been regularly installed into their respective stations and placed for the ensuing year. All interested will take due notice and govern yourselves accordingly.
Attendees, family, friends, relatives, people online, I present you the officers of Winona Lodge for 2025. Huzzah! We have about 25 more pages of stuff to go through, and then we'll be wrapping up for the evening.
That's the first half.
Brothers, you may be seated. I wrote this down so I didn't have to memorize it. To the members of Winona Lodge number 18, to all the past worshipful masters and brethren from different lodges, and to our distinguished grand officers who took the time to be here for this special occasion, I thank you very much. Your presence is indeed an inspiring support for me. Thank you to all the family members and friends for being here this evening as we all come together with a common interest and a special bond. And last but not least, many, many thanks to my wife and my kids who have continued to sacrifice family time so that I might be able to do Masonic functions. I'm extremely honored to have been elected as the 168th worshipful master of this historic lodge, Winona Lodge number 18, and I humbly accept the responsibilities that your trust has entitled me to. As worshipful master, I pledge to perform all of my official duties to the best of my abilities and to ensure that our lodge will always have honor and respect among the craft and community. This year, I'm privileged to serve with an exceptionally fine group of officers and members. The success of the lodge is a group effort, and I expect we will do great things for both the lodge and our community. I'm so proud of our many young and promising new brethren with their energy and new ideas, and the lodge's backbone of past masters and other brothers. I hope to strengthen and secure the future of this lodge. As individuals and as brothers, we will continue to make this lodge like our home, built solid and true to be a positive force in the community and to continue to attract great young men. I'm excited to be a part of Winona Lodge number 18, and I'm excited for our endeavors in 2025. Thank you. So I think this pretty much concludes the...
It's you?
I would say speech, but you just gave one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so thank you everybody for being here. For those that are over 21, I do have a little something in there that we can all have a little sip of if you would like to join me afterwards. And congratulations to everybody, and thank you.
Before you leave, he needs pictures of you guys with him.
Oh, yeah.
I need pictures too.
Yeah.